this was a triumph. I'm making a note here, huge success. It's hard to overstate my satisfaction. Aperture science. We do what we must because we can. For the good of all of us, except the ones who are dead.
So, I see you've been playing Portal again.
What? How'd you know?
Oh, just a guess.
Oh yeah, I've been meaning to get that one. Seems a lot of the Mist community really like it.
Oh, there's Elhan and Janathus. Oh dear. Janathus? Elhan? Is that you?
One more remark and I'm going to show him my magic trick. You know, the one with the pencil?
I knew you would. I can feel your anger. It gives you focus. Makes you stronger.
Are you two alright? Should we be running?
Janathus, you're looking a bit colorful today, aren't you?
Looky here, Dalkin, just the young man I wanted to
Talk to.
Yeah. Talk to.
Well, I'm here. Thankfully with Anthony and Moog. What did you need?
So, Anthony, you want to know how I got these marks?
Listen,
You see, we were trying to move the piano.
As I recall, the we didn't so much involve a you.
Well, the piano fell.
Wait a minute. I know it didn't fall on you. So that is not the reason.
Your staff mutinied. They grabbed Miles' paints and said, "You think that's funny, do you? Well, let's put a smile on that face," they said.
I never heard that part of the story.
It was just a joke.
I didn't think it would send him over the bend. I mean, he's been over the bend, but I didn't think it would send him this far over the bend.
You see, I know why you choose to have your little podcast recordings in broad daylight. I know why you're afraid to go into the cavern. The Barrow. You see, the Barrow have shown you explorers for the yellow fellows you really are. Flying around Kearsarge? That's just the beginning.
So what exactly do you propose?
It's simple. We shoo the Barrow.
Well then, why haven't you done it already?
Just let me wipe them out. All of them.
No. If you're good at something, never do it for free.
Janathus, I'm sorry. We didn't mean to mess you up this bad. It was just a joke, really.
And now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling.
No, that's not the Janathus I know. Come on, say something degrading. Say something snarky. Listen, let me read you this. 4 large eggs. 2/3 cup granulated rhubarb. 3 cups. Oh, come back, Janathus. We didn't mean to kill our ex-exec. Really, we didn't. I can't believe our little joke caused this. Oh, it's gone all wrong.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
You know, Anthony, I think we might have fallen into that 5th age, you know, where you unlock the door with the key of imagination.
Beyond that door, there's another dimension. What a sight, a sound of mind.
Yeah, that's the one. It's a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas.
It looks like we just crossed over into the Twilight Age. Okay, everyone. That was fun, but let's get the rest of this podcast done.
Oh, all right.
Okay, let's get to it.
Yoicks and away! No, you will die. Ow. Let go of my ear.
I said, let's get this podcast done, Lord Al.
Okay. Ow. Okay, I'm going. Sheesh.
Across the desert, journeying from many other ages and worlds, this is the Cavern Today Topside, Episode 3 for September 2008. Anticipation is growing as the predicted opening of Myst Online Restoration Experiment draws closer to its estimated end of 2008, beginning of 2009 release. Yes, it's true, we do lack a specific release date. However, that hasn't stopped the community from conceptualizing new ages, creating new ages with the tools currently available, and just generally maintaining enthusiasms over both the new content to be created and the previous content which we'll all be able to enjoy again. To share in this enthusiasm as only the Cavern Today can, we bring you Topside 3 with news, TCT Talk, a new piece from our beloved pianolist staff composer Jeff Wise, and a Moog Thought. We hope you enjoy Topside 3, for, just like you, we have still more waiting. Alrighty, and now I give you Dalkin Starbine for the news. Wait a minute. I'm Dalkin Starbine. And now, the news. Explorers press on with discussions and designs for new ages and other content as the enthusiasm for more continues, keeping the official forums buzzing with activity. One project in particular, a Genesis project, seems to have caught the interest of more than a few members of the community. The basic idea behind it appears to be a user-created Relto of sorts, where elements in the age would be added or removed in a fashion similar to Relto pages, allowing the freedom of personal customization of this user-created age. In other news, on Tuesday the 16th at the Austin Game Developers Conference in Austin, Texas, there was held a board discussion of particular interest. The topic was the world that players wouldn't let die, what we know better as our beloved Uru. Mentioned bullet points included Uru demographics, why the game had been dropped when it was, and why it keeps coming back. There was no mention of more at the discussion. However, the community's role in keeping Uru alive was mentioned more than once, giving this reporter high hopes as the community-driven Myst Online Restoration Experiment draws closer. But for now, this is Dalkin Starbine telling you to stay tuned for further news as more's release approaches. The guys are already gathering for TCT Talk, so I'll just get in there and share in the, fun. Hello?
Hello.
Hola.
Welcome.
Yeah, I was just making sure, because, Janethus, cut off of me, and it was like, okay, it's all completely silent. Thought I'd lost the call or something. Hello, Internet. My internet likes to tease me like that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Good. No. Maybe.
Yes.
Fish.
Okay.
Sediment
That's
shaped
what that
sediment. 2/3 cups granulated rhubarb.
does. Oh, brother.
Really? Granulated rhubarb?
Yes, granulated rhubarb.
Have you ever listened to the whole recipe?
Yes, I have.
Yes, we just did.
I've recited the whole recipe.
Okay,
before.
wait, shh. Listen.
In a world, my world. Welcome to my world.
Nice.
I cut it down just him saying those things, so we can actually use it in the piece. I wish you could resize the Emotion Sounds player window.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Oh, Anthony, were you here when I played this?
Great Central Railroad that ran through our town.
Well, before I delete it, I wanted to use it one more time.
Shall we get going then?
No.
Well, we're recording, so anytime.
Okay. Let's do this.
Welcome to another edition of TCT Talk, the roundtable discussion where we talk about what happens in my empire. It's a small empire, but still. With us today, we have
Anthony.
Dawkin.
Janathus.
Wolfgang.
and my worthless crony, Erlon. This hurts to do with the voice, so take care of it.
Oh, fine. Shut up. Okay. On that happy note, welcome to
Joking
another...
on tongue.
It's been a while since we've talked last, and not much has happened in the official front. We had the announcement of I Missed, but that's pretty self-explanatory. So, let's get going. The one big thing that we have with more, I guess, is the user-created content. Anybody have any ideas of what they'd like to see? Whether we should be doing it right away? How fast it should be until we get it in?
Do you want a technical answer to that, or do you want a
Something that our
common-sense
audience could
answer?
understand, I think.
You disgust me sometimes.
Well, you gotta remember, our audience does have a lot of technical people, so you probably could get away with it, at least somewhat.
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 Well, I don't think it's time to really be working too hard on producing the content, personally. Maybe 3D modeling, but I don't.
Yeah.
If people are using the hack for Complete Chronicles, that I think they're somewhat wasting their time, because aren't they going to have to port it all over again into the new engine?
Yeah, 3D models, I think, are fine. Design away on those.
So, if porting were easy, we wouldn't have been waiting so long for those ages to come in from CC to the new Mule engine.
Yeah, that's true. I'm supposing they had to do a lot of changes between MOUL and CC. They ripped out the entire physics engine, so that caused some issues.
Yeah.
That would do it.
Cause some havoc.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, we need a...
Very punished.
Yes.
I think that people are going to be setting themselves up for disappointment. When people, I think a lot of the sentiment, and admittedly I haven't been following it too much lately, but the sentiment seems, we're getting user-created content. We'll use it, instead of getting Scion content, we'll be getting this. But, hey, it's still content, so it's just as good. I think people are setting themselves up to be disappointed because, sure, people are modeling and everything, but what really makes Uru and the Myst series in general isn't so much the environments as the puzzles and the interactivity. And as far as I've seen, there's almost no way to actually code puzzles or anything into these ages. And I might be wrong, it's not following. But yeah, the first ages that come out, assuming that we get, capability of installing the user-made ages very soon after more comes out, they're going to be pretty much, that's nice to look at, link out. So,
Yeah.
that's
I want roller coaster
thing I'm
puzzles. More
Well,
roller
most of the-
coasters. Always loved the roller coasters.
Yeah.
Most of the
I'll
stuff
be
I've
happy.
seen hasn't looked too slick. It's looked like the way I have said it before. It looks like bad multiplayer maps from first-person shooters from the '90s. Is what it looks like to me.
To me, it looks like Second Life. And we all know how much half the Myst community loathes Second Life, so...
Well,
Yeah.
any good modeling or content's going to take a long while to truly get done, especially on the scale as most stages are in Uru.
is
Even the
true.
small ages, like the Edders,
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff in there. A lot of stuff. For the time they made Uru, those were very detailed models.
Well, you
But
also would
now-
have a whole design studio for every age. You need somebody to do textures, somebody does modeling, somebody does sound effects, somebody does coding.
Logistically, it's even a nightmare just to have player-created content, and you would need to implement a fairly big logistics thing like that just to make it worth doing anyways. And Yeah, for a while I've wanted user-created content. Like, I wanted to create my own ages. I've planned some of them out, but I can never see them becoming very useful without quite a bit of extra assistance.
Yeah.
I have an age that I'm planning out. Shh. It's kind of quiet at this point.
And now it isn't.
There you go.
You
Dolphins
don't know.
official
You don't know
announcement.
what I. You don't know more than I want you to know. But the point is, I'm getting quite a bit of help with it, and because basically each person has got their own section of stuff that they're working on. For example, our own Jeff Wise is volunteered to do the music.
That's nice.
There you go.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm not saying that it's impossible.
Oh,
and
no.
some people aren't going to do it. And if you can get people together, most of the people who will take the effort, I hope, will be the type of people who will do a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not implying that you're not going to do a good job. I don't know yet.
Let me just say,
Just let that one
take
slip
the
by.
time that it needs, and it's specifically it's going to be a really long-term project. Hopefully, not way too long, but
yeah.
it's expected to be a long-term project because making sure that it takes the time that we need to take to make it good. It's really an ambitious project, and I won't say more than that. It's an ambitious project.
And
Well, there are most definitely, good sections of modding. I mean, Oblivion has tons of mods, and many of them are very high quality, so it's not impossible for the community to put together something that can rival the quality of what the professionals do. It's just, you gotta be organized, and you gotta have time, and you gotta be willing to devote yourself to do it.
Oh, was user-created content going to allow modding as well?
what?
Was user-created content going to allow modding as well?
Well, I'm not going to say that it's a mod so much as I'm talking about the level of the stuff they put in. They put in new models. They do all kinds of stuff you can expect to happen in New Ages for, the
Well,
more.
if we still get our lake water-filled squirt guns, then I'm cool.
Well, I mean, look at if you remember the old Quake 3 based games, especially my experience has been with Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy on the PC. Some of the models that fans would pump out, like character models, were much higher quality than the ones in the game themselves. I mean, it was more fun running around playing as Darth Maul instead of playing as any of the characters that they had because they felt so bland. So I mean, there's definitely power there.
On the flip side, though, the reason that they don't go as high quality, because I dealt with this when I was using mods for Bridge Commander, because you could change all your ships for more realistic, more accurate ship designs. And one of them threw in this ship with super high textures, and that was where the problem came in. The game was balanced for a certain type of content, and even on my machine it was kind of chugging with this high texture. So it's it's something you can put in for screenshots, but you can't really play with it.
Yeah,
And so,
well, the engine can only handle so much, and if it's not designed to handle certain levels of content efficiently, then it won't.
So in the same vein with that Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast thing, it was balanced for a certain system spec of the time. As time has gone on, computers have become more powerful, and therefore it can handle more stuff.
Of course, that's true with Uru, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did with Freelancer and
Except-
X-Men Alliance, and a lot of the space sims fans would do a massive mod that would completely overhaul the graphics and everything as computers got good enough to handle them.
How long has SP1 been out for Vista, Anthony?
It came out sometime earlier this late spring, I believe. So
Okay, so it came out after Mule went off the air.
I think so.
Okay, because I ran Complete Chronicles, and it's running great on my computer, faster and smoother than I ever remember Mule running. And that's where, you talk about progress and this and that, and I'm thinking, I think that we've taken a few steps backwards with the Mule engine.
Well, you gotta remember, they ripped out a lot of stuff to redo it, and Havoc, you can't deny Havoc was a good engine in and of itself. The whole problem was, as far as I've been able to hear, was how the netcode communicated stuff, and that caused a lot of the lag.
Well, I thought
when you're checking with every other computer that
the
you're
reason
near.
they got rid of Havoc was simply due to cost of renewal.
Oh yeah, that was
Well, that was
why they
part
got
of
rid
it,
of
at
Havoc.
Because
But-
Havoc is working fine in. I'm trying to think which game I was just playing it with. It's not an online game, I guess, so that doesn't matter.
But you gotta remember, until Uru, there were a lot of times when you got lots of people together, people would start popping and stopping, you know?
Yeah.
You'd move 2 feet, then you'd stop. You'd move 2 feet. And that was because, from the best we were ever able to tell, all this information about the physics and position of people was getting communicated between all the different computers, and they had to come to an agreement, and it
And
gets exponentially harder.
I think that was their. Well, besides that, there's their desire for persistence in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, user-created content.
Aren't we talking? Yeah.
Yeah,
we're still talking about it.
Sort of,
Yeah.
maybe.
And PhysX is now supported.
Oh yeah, now that's an
video
interesting
cards.
thing to try out, because it'll be interesting to see how physics works on the NVIDIA graphics cards 8 series and higher.
Yeah.
So, on the same vein with the user-created content, I was reading about this Genesis project on the Mule forums, which I don't have open in front of me. I wish I did, but it sounded kind of an interesting theory, and I'm not really sure if it's. I may not have the exact take on it, but it sounds like essentially a sort of a Relto kind of thing, where the user controls what's in the age. How they're going to manage that, I don't know. And also, as we pointed out in our pre-show, it is a bit ambitious.
Oh yeah,
But if it's well pulled off, though,
exactly.
that would be a testament to what the user community could do.
And we do have quite a bit of a user community, as has been proven several times before.
Yeah.
So we could get our hopes up, but that would be far too optimistic for me.
I'm still looking forward to
Cautious
getting.
optimism.
I'm still looking forward to more just getting out there.
I mean, we're going to start out with something, pretty close to Until Uru was, except for with all our content now. How long it's going to take before we can actually get those ages.
Small style UU.
Yeah. We can say it's an UU 2.0 to start with.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of wonder why they don't just do a UU. Is it just too far outside of their agreement with Turner?
I don't think they're doing UU because they don't want to just do UU.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to do something more than just UU, hence the name. But they're going to start out
If you
with
hadn't
something
said it, I
like
would
UU.
have.
I know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to start out with, all they can do is give us UU, and over time, they can, hopefully, convert the tools over to something they believe we can mess with and use. But who knows when that'll be.
I think it's really great how the community's really organized itself. Like taking action with this whole guild thing we've been handed, and really just run with it. We've got the Guild of Writers that. They've got like all these resources that they've got for everyone who wants to pick it up. We've got the Guild of Maintainers, and together they use the Uru Library Manager.
As an aside,
I think it's amazingly organized compared to something as opposed to like say Second Life, where it's basically just everyone's out on their own.
Yeah,
You saying something?
I found the page with the Genesis plan and the little quick blurb about what it is. The age is going to be nothing more than a very pretty, very fun age for visitors, especially new players, to visit. It will contain whatever you choose to put in it, along with a mention of the guilds involved with the project. And then it goes on for like a page and sells whatever thing. I put it up. You can get to it in the thingamajiggy. So, Janathus, you were kind of right, I guess, about your understanding, if I'm reading this right.
Now I'm actually thinking I'm wrong. This makes it sound like we'll get the input, and then they'll make the age to our specifications.
They're doing these poll things, I've noticed. Like, the one that I keep running into was, what type of puzzles do you want? It looks like they're going with, they're asking, do you want puzzles like, here, let's see, Mist style, Riven style, Exile style, Group style, or do you have a better idea? And
With
so
style.
actually, Riven style is winning, which is the
Well,
clue
of
to the
course
puzzle.
it is.
The clue to the puzzle is hidden elsewhere. The clues are linked together, which actually makes sense.
I like the idea of like multiplayer Uru style with exile level difficulty.
Yeah, that sounds good.
No, let's not
Still
get
want
into
roller
the
coaster
debate
puzzles.
over
let's
the
not go with
differences
that.
about that. We'll do that later.
Yes,
Aw,
but,
but
anyways,
I like going off on tangents.
If we go
And
off
it's
on a
all we really
tangent, we'll
do
cut our
anyways.
toes off before we can get to it.
So, let's talk about rebooting Myst.
Yes.
Now we're there.
yes, this should fill up more interesting opinions. And maybe I'll use better sentence grammar.
Well, let's start with my cynical thing because you folks tend to be more positive than me. It is my feeling that as I spoke out last time on TCG Talk, how there was that post on the Ubisoft forums where people were talking about how this one guy was talking about, are you bummed that Myst 5 is in the style of Uru and not in like Myst 3 and Myst 4, which it begat a lot of conversation because Myst 3 and 4 weren't by Cyan and therefore they really weren't even in a position to use that kind of resource. But that aside, there is still the issue that it went on and on and on about how this guy sort of prophetically said that Uru is the downfall of Cyan, and I kind of see it that way. And you know,
I
the
don't
Myst
necessarily see Uru as the downfall of Cyan. I think a lot of things led to the downfall as far as them being a leading developer in the industry. But
well, there's the concept that they lost the fact that adventure gaming as a whole was going down, but
Yeah,
it never recovered, unlike RPGs did. But
or adventure games.
yeah,
Anyways, well, can you qualify what you mean by, like, well, how would you say that Uru is the downfall? Justify it.
they burned
So I
through
can rebuttal.
Cyan burned through pretty much all of their resources. It has the longest
Developing it.
development cycle of any of their games,
Okay, I
and
can see that.
the worst overall sales hole of anything they've ever produced. It was just, I think they moved too far into a realm where they really didn't have the chops to keep up. And by the time they finally came out, they were already outdated. So
yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
will
can
agree
agree
with
with
you.
that.
They bit off too much, more than they could chew at the time.
And I
I
They
agree with that also.
And also, just going into, even though Myst, with the community as it is, it would be, inducive of having some form of multiplayer system. However, the fact that most have to cater to extremely large and diverse groups of people, it probably failed there too, especially when going through GameTap, when it dealt with, and I've mentioned this before, so I'm not going to repeat that. Go back to other podcasts. Know my opinions from the past.
the episodic thing in the end, the
don't
way
go
we
there.
the way we did it, or the way they did it, excuse me, was not well executed. But the way they initially presented Uru when it was still called Mud Pie sounded feasible. If you tacked on a cooperative multiplayer experience, possibly off of a hubbed, sort of like Guild Wars, where you can meet everyone in the city or in a town, and then out of there you're in a cooperative small group where the engine doesn't have to compete with any number of infinite people who might come across your path, and then combine that with segmented content delivered in subscriptive chunks. I think that would have worked.
Yeah, I'd
And that
agree
was
with
what
you.
they-
That'd be a whole lot easier for them to have implemented too.
And they
And it would
initially
be-
said that it was going to be, a way for you to have more than one person playing. That was initially what they said. And it was going to come in small chunks that you would pay for along the way.
That makes sense.
That appealed to me.
Sounds like it would fit.
I'm not entirely certain why they didn't go with that, but I imagine that's a story for another day, probably.
Well, what I would guess is it's the same thing, feature creep. They said, well, if we can do this, why don't we do this?
I bet you actually what happened is
and it grew.
I think they originally didn't want to do an MMO, and then Ubisoft wanted an MMO. And when they
That's
realized the
possible.
cost of ramping up an MMO, they're like, well, we don't want an MMO anymore.
Yeah, that's what happened to kill it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I
that's
don't think
was something
they
I
could-
was going to say was, I think, well, one, they could have picked a better publisher, because...
No, they
I mean-
couldn't. They didn't have a choice.
Yeah,
They-
that doesn't work.
No, I mean,
that way.
like, I guess you should say if they had a choice, but
if they had
that's
a
another
choice, but they didn't have
They
a
don't.
choice.
There's no such thing as a big book of publishers. That
But
you
I
just
mean,
say, I
like-
this one.
Well, actually,
Yeah,
what
whichever
happened
is
was
good.
they started out with Borderbrand, and Borderbrand sold off their gaming division to Mattel, and Mattel sold off theirs to Ubi. And so the contract ended up with Ubi.
Yeah, just the way things fell.
It's corporate nonsense, but
But I don't know that there's a lot of publishers out there better than Ubisoft. I mean, EA tried to acquire Ubisoft, and everyone in the community like, no, So
We do
True.
know that one of the earliest flavors of Uru, when it was still in the conceptual stages after Ribbon, it was known as Dirt, Denis in real time. And my idea for Myst needing a complete reboot is probably that. I know this is going to tick off so many people in the fandom right now, but let's, I guess canonically, throw out Uru, because Uru screwed up more than Myst 4 did, and Myst 4 messed a lot of things up. Start over with Denis in real time. Have one explorer, make it a single player real time game, kind of like Myst 5, that where you actually get to go down to the city, down to the actual city, not just Agura, and solve puzzles and learn exact details, maybe more details, whatever, about the downfall of the city. And the game's not make the game back to its traditional roots of the excitement of discovering something new instead of
make the tunnels a puzzle in themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We probably wouldn't need to reboot too much. I mean, maybe what I'd like to see is prison books become canon again and kind of throw out Myst 4, tell the story, but throw out parts of that, and that way keeping Myst and Riven holy.
Dump the mysticism.
Yes. Because Myst 4 screwed so much up in Serenia. But, I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a game franchise has been rebooted. The most obvious one...
It's happened.
The most obvious one to me is Tomb Raider Anniversary and Legend rebooted Tomb Raider and made it stop being a joke again.
Yeah, I think that changed developers' hands though. There's
it
also
did change developers' hands, but
yeah,
somebody who was taking it seriously. And even if Myst Uru stayed with Cyan, and as long as they decided we screwed up and we need to start over, if they can realize that, then I think it would be just as good, because they're smart people over there. But I think they just kind of need to have the resources and the realization that there's no way we can fix this. Let's start over. I mean, look at the Batman movie franchise. I don't need to say anything else after "Nice to see you." So,
there's a soundbite we need.
I think a big problem that people have with rebooting, and I is that they feel, and I don't think it's as bad as some people make out be, is, oh, we're throwing out all these good times we had. Well,
no, you're not.
You still have those memories, Yeah, you still have the memories. You still don't.
And if
we
you
just
think
feel
about
like
it's just we're throwing out the story part, not the experiences.
And
it's gone convoluted.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the story was ours in the first place, so throwing out the quote-unquote official story really doesn't destroy anything we've done anyways. Even, I don't know, I can't understand.
And kind of along those same lines, one of the major ways that Uru kind of failed me personally was they hyped it as you get to decide what happens in this grand overarching story. And in all seriousness, the only time I can think of explorers actually heavily impacting the story in any way, shape, and form are maybe Rill's little adventure outside of was it Negalon Pod or something like that?
Yeah.
And Sydney Austin being stupid. That's the only things I look back and see, oh, the fandom was actually directly involved here. The rest of it was just, okay, we stood up for a lot of press conferences, and I've got a lot of chat logs that, in the end...
You gotta look more at the original prologue, though, to see more of what they really wanted to do. Because there was a lot more Explorer influence back then.
Well, therein lies the problem. What they originally wanted to do never came about, so getting rid of what came about really isn't that much of a reboot. It is a reboot, but it's going back to what it was supposed to be.
And also there's things like the emotion, like getting people emotionally involved in the game is a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And like as an example, I'll spoil for you at the end of Mass Effect, something major happens. And that major and that major thing happens.
Something big happens at the end of a story.
No. Just
No.
let go, Dalton.
But like it impacts you because you've had this long game before that lead up to this particular instance,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we have this. In Uru we had the wheelie die. And I was like, "Who's Wheelie? Why do I care?"
Well, it's also kind of like in halfway through Bioshock, there's a major plot revelation that if you think about it, you can kind of see it coming, but most of the time people aren't paying that close of attention at the moment when they give you the hints. And
Reminds me
there's
of Nice
just
Old Public.
I
Yeah,
guess
but-
of that.
yeah.
But not the fun, quotable part. The rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not too surprised about that. But wait, what about that? I didn't notice that at all.
In any case, this is the investment that these games achieve wasn't present in Uru, and
No.
this is where if you listen to Games for Windows radio, they talked about how like a lot of companies get MMOs wrong because they don't understand how much of an established fan base you have to have before the MMO goes online. But that's the same problem is that the people who tend to play Myst and Riven games were, while there are those who were playing with friends and family, a lot of people were playing by themselves, and that really didn't lend to the whole MMO perspective. So you actually, as Anthony pointed out before, you've got different fans coming from different realms of the Myst genre into the MMO. So, as I said, like I really think
That's
the whole
something added that most other MMOs don't have, because, I mean, people who went into World of Warcraft, they came in playing Warcraft against mostly other people, playing Warcraft 2 and 3.
Yeah.
And so when they made the jump to an MMO, which admittedly is very heavy stylistic change from the actual Warcraft games, they still had at least a small sense of community
not a huge change.
and stuff. So, I mean, it wasn't as foreign a concept as
Completely
Myst.
different genre.
Yeah, it's completely.
And the
it is
thing
completely different. But Myst has the thing where you play Myst 1, 2, and 3, and you're on a solo adventure helping one person. Most of the
Very
time you're
solitary
completely alone,
adventure, too.
Very solitary, and all of a sudden you're thrown in this cave with a whole bunch of other people chattering and solving puzzles for you. And
it's a whole other experience, and
Yeah.
it draws a different audience, I think.
It's
It
a
did.
different audience, but it's also a different.
That's why I said the whole idea of like the co-op thing. If you kept it like Guild Wars, where it is possible to be by yourself pretty much for most,
Yeah.
if not all, of the game, if that possibility was still there, but still the ability to meet people in the city, so you've got like the hybrid stuff. Well, Uru does kind of do that.
But not enough.
Its implementation fails so badly.
I think it would be insanely impossible without, dream amounts of money and stuff. But really,
That's
I
for sure.
think in order to make Uru work, you got to cater to the MMO crowd and then the solo crowd, and you got to really somehow make it
I don't think
mesh.
you can
but,
do it both
but
at the
you-
same time.
But you'd have to have like two
think
separate
so.
teams to do that. That like sometimes like Star Wars Galaxies actually has two teams, two separate development
Don't mention
teams.
that game.
And they work on one team works on the smaller updates in between with like little tiny things to put in the game,
Fixes and
and then another team then puts in the big updates like class modifications and putting in new expertises and stuff like that.
The
I think in order to make that aspect of Uru work, where you have the MMO crowd and then the solo crowd, you kind of have to have two different teams that each work on those aspects. But the thing is that that's probably never going to happen.
Well, I would think that more so it would be if you can think of the grand scheme and keep the solo versus multiplayer aspects modular, just like an age is just you link to an age and it's just another map you load. Same respect for going to solo or non-solo areas. It wouldn't be that too hard, too difficult, I don't think. But
No,
I think it's actually
I
all
agree with that,
academic
too.
by
I'm
this
just saying,
point.
you have the two different teams, but again, they work together. For example, going back to Star Wars Galaxies, the teams work together for they're putting in Hoth, the Battle of Hoth, as an instance, and they're working together on that. And again, with Uru, obviously they'd have to work together on the parts that mesh and make it modular, so that it's not so separate that it breaks it up.
And no one really
that
knows
makes
what
sense.
they're at with the legalities. Like if they decided they wanted to redo Myst all over or do something else with the franchise where it reboots or rethinks it, whatever, they may not even have the latitude to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. We're not considering that, but I don't know if we really can consider that because we have no information about it.
Mm.
And we've...
Huh?
We've... that's what I said.
So,
Reboot.
Are you still there?
Oh, hey. Please, no.
So the reboot, I guess it'd be something definitely to look at, because I think we're in consensus that Uru needs fixing, and we've been in consensus pretty much since Mole came out. But
admittedly, you're actually saying Uru needs fixing is probably not the correct way of saying it.
Yeah,
the direction that Myst has gone has to be. It needs to take a U-turn and then go back and kind of go off in a different direction.
Yes,
preferably a direction that stays in line with what the original games started out.
I would like it to remain.
So, they went off on a tangent.
Yeah, the reason Myst was so good is because it was a thinking man's game. The controls made it accessible to just about anyone. So
which is one thing that killed Uru was their controls.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
I've gone on that
one thing.
Times.
Well, one of the things, but I would prefer if they stylistically they went back more to the Jules Verne, H.G. Wells-esque, setting.
I would have loved that.
How the original Myst...
Make it feel a lot more steampunk.
Yeah. The original Myst Island, you have this giant, old-fashioned generators and the electricity poles. It looks like something set from back then.
In Riven was definitely quite a bit steampunk. You have almost everything, wasn't it? Yeah, everything's steam-powered. That's essentially... that defines it, but...
Yeah.
But Riven and Myst, and actually, I liked Exile. I don't know, some people don't.
I liked Exile. It wasn't as good, but it was still better than...
It fit with... Well, I kind of have a preference towards Presto Studios. They're one of the
games that Presto did, though.
They're the ones that did the Journeyman Project 3.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah, I kind of liked their games, but they went out of business again. They're another one of those things that...
I didn't think they went out of business. I thought they just closed while they were on a high note, is what the whole story I heard.
I think they might have, but again, they're gone. That's the point.
Well, I think they did what Cyan probably should have done, is just realized the writing was on the wall and gone out on a high note.
That's true. They could have.
Cyan tried to capture a new genre, and, well, they missed the mark. But in their defense, a lot of companies do. Yeah. It takes a lot of money to get an MMO developed, produced, and out the door. And even then, there's no assurance that it's going to do good or not.
Uru has come back more than once.
That is one thing it has going for it, is it's got, I guess, zombies.
Yeah, it has people.
It does not go away.
Regardless
is that
of
because of Uru, or is that because of the community of Myst who's just stuck around because they want
it?
I'm going to say it's the community.
It's definitely the community, but
it's got the community going for it. That's the advantage it has over other things.
Yeah.
Even though getting the community to agree with what they're doing is becoming a minor problem. As at least the 5 of us have...
well, as certain stalwarts
we are but 5 people.
Don't pledge their devotion to the next coming of Uru, you begin to wonder if more is really going to have much of a following.
Sure. It depends on how the community can change it as it goes, because it's going to be the community's hands that decide its fate.
Supposedly, there was a group that restored, the real story to Knights of the Old Republic 2. Supposedly, there's a community that fixed all the stuff in the Vampire Masquerade game. But, I played both of them before these fixes and pretty much don't have the desire to go back to them, after all these fixes are supposedly out there, because of my experience with, community-based mods that are such big changes tend to be buggy. So
you got to think about it, though. Both publisher-sponsored versions of Uru didn't last nearly as long as the one community-run version of Uru, which only gave way to the new publisher version. Otherwise, it would still been going.
Well, I don't know if it'd still be going per se.
I don't know. It seemed like it was starting to die off.
It lasted. You lasted like I'm trying to remember here. Was it 2.5 years?
Yeah, I think it was roughly 2.
The problem what you're trying to do is you're trying to predict a future that didn't happen off of a past that's already gone. So,
Yeah, sounds interesting.
What if?
what if the what if machine?
Well, the thing is, you predict your basis of the future off of what's already happened. That's how you
Yes, but
say, "Oh,
regardless
this is
of
what I think is going to happen." But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that more is going to be a very heavily community-run version of Uru, and I think it has a better chance that way than it has been being under publishers, because died relatively quickly both times being under a publisher.
Or at least with
Now,
Turner,
my
it
question
lasted for a year.
Yes.
My question
Yeah, but
is,
still,
if
for
more
an
is gonna
MMO,
be-
that's relatively quick.
yeah.
Elhan has a question.
My question is, if more is going to be so heavily community run, even more so in a sense than Until Uru is the community willing to support that load at this point?
I actually think it's going to be less than Until Uru. Because
Yeah,
I
there
think
are a lot
Cyan
of
is still
people
going to be the
who've been
gatekeepers.
disillusioned
It's
because
going to be like doing an app for an iPhone. Just like Apple has the final say, I think Cyan will have the final say on stuff.
And
That's
there's like
true,
a lot of
but
people who got disillusioned after.
technically, in Until Uru, we couldn't do anything except run a server.
Yeah,
And
people-
do some
And
hackish mods.
Yeah, people did some hack mods that-
Have been key.
I don't think we'll have blue skies in the
Right,
captain
but-
yet.
Oh, I missed.
But I can't make the cavern, icy again. Oh well.
I missed the dancing arch.
I hope you guys can't hear the ice cream truck that's going by.
The ice cream
What?
truck? Where?
Ice cream
Ice
truck?
cream. Ice
Where?
cream.
No,
Where?
it's just the music, and I want you to hear the entertainment
Bears?
playing.
Oh, da 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 da.
No, I meant not to hear it, not to.
No.
Yeah, but I do have to give Cyan this thing. They were ahead of the time on the direction the industry generally was going.
Yes, they just maybe we're a little too much ahead of the time.
That's probably true.
I think I meant for that not to be heard.
And yet it was.
As I'll be editing it, I have final say.
Oh, that load.
So, anything else anybody wants to add?
No, I think that's
Anybody
about it.
show? Yeah. Well,
What?
we're in trouble.
What's
What?
The boss is coming back. He's
know.
coming. I gotta go.
Now, where did that worthless peon run off to? What are you still doing here? Let's wrap it. This has been Empire Talk, where we talk about my grand empire, which is growing.
It's my empire, thank you.
No,
Fight the
you will
power,
die.
fight the power.
For TCT Talk, this has been.
Anthony.
Dalkin.
Janathus.
Wolfgang?
And me,
Hello?
your emperor. And we're signing off permanently.
That was Maroon Part 1 by Jeff Wise. You know, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but not too long ago, Jeff had no intentions of ever composing music again. It was the worlds of Mist and Uru that brought him back to this gift of his, and we're all better for it. Thanks for sticking with it, Jeff. Well, those are my thoughts. Now for some Mohawk thoughts. Or thought, singular.
Hello? Yeah, hi. Is this Meister Builder? Yeah, cool. This is Mowog for the cavern today. Yes, that Mowog. Thanks. Thanks. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks. You're too kind. Oh, come now, really. This is embarrassing. Well, anyway, the reason I'm calling is that we'd like to interview you on the cavern today. We heard that you were building a rather extraordinary new age for more, and wondered if you'd like to talk to us about it. Oh, really? Well, great. Glad to hear it. Well, first, I just wanted to chat with you a bit before the interview to sort of get an idea of what this new age of yours is all about. Oh, okay. So it has mountains? Great. Cool. I love mountains. Can you, hike around in these mountains? Yeah? Oh, cool. What? Gee, you can ski? Oh, boy, no, that's a first for an Uru age. Oh, there's a downside? What's that? Oh, it all depends on the season. You're kidding. So you have seasons in your age? Oh, how frequently do they change? Oh, about every 3 months? Yes, I guess that would be real time, wouldn't it? Okay, so there are mountains, and you can hike and you can ski. Is there anything else you can do? Now, you can ride the ski lifts. Well, now that's cool. It's sort of like the buckets in Teledon, then? Oh, I see. They're enclosed gondolas. Nice touch. And you have to power them up, I suppose. Oh, they're already running when you get there. Oh, right. Yeah, depending on the season, of course. Well, that is pretty sophisticated, all right. So, aside from hiking and skiing and riding the ski lifts, what else is there? Oh, cities. Cities? You've actually got cities in your age? Like Igura? Oh, bigger. Well, how big exactly? The nearest city can hold nearly 377,000? What? Oh, the lag must be incredible. Well, it's hardly noticeable, you say? Boy, this guy must be an amazing programmer. So then what can you do in the city? Oh, it's pretty much anything. Well, like what? Okay, so you can walk around. Cool. You can shop. Oh, boy, so the shop door's even open in your age. And, you can eat. Well, that's cool. How can you do all this without using your hands? Oh, you can use your hands. Oh, boy, well, the community will sure love that. We haven't been able to do much with our hands so far except touch journey cloths. Well, in a city that big, it must take you months to walk around the whole thing? Oh, not necessarily. How's that? Oh, you can take a bus. A bus, right. So you have buses in your age, okay. And taxis. And cars. Right. Well, I hope you realize that this sort of thing is entirely unprecedented in online gaming. How long will it be until we see a linking book to this new age? Oh, it doesn't use a linking book? Huh. Well, then, how do we get there? You say that most people fly there. Using fly mode, right? Oh, using airplanes. So you've actually built airplanes and... Wait a minute, what do you call this age, anyway? Switzerland. Right, and as far as you know, it's been available for a long time now. Yeah. Meister Builder, I'm not sure you can take credit for Switzerland. Yeah, that's right. I understand. I realize you won't even need Uru to go there. That's a nice feature and all, but still, look, I'm going to have to talk this one over with the Cavern Today staff and call you back. This, isn't quite what we expected. No, we definitely won't forget about you. Take my word for it. Yeah. Okay, we'll be calling you. Thanks again. Yes, thanks. Thank you. Yes, I'll send you an autograph. Zurich, right? Okay. Okay, bye.
This is the ending of Topside 3. Hopefully we've helped pass a bit of your missed online restoration experiment free time to help shorten that wait a bit. When more does open, you can be sure to find Alkin Starbine wandering the city, or the Watcher's Sanctuary, or the Hoods, or any other place where people can gather. Because where there's people, there's news for the Cavern Today's Star Reporter to report on. Until that time, for the Cavern Today, this has been Elhan, Anthony, Janathus, Moag, Jeff Wise, and me, Dalkin Starbine, and we're signing off.